Gonna be the same without him.
All right, and we're back.
We're back.
Sorry about that, folks.
We're back.
Technical difficulties, although, dude, got to mention that Xfinity in my area has been taking a dump lately. I've lost my connection probably anywhere between 5 and 20 times per day.
Wow. Well, I mean, my connection has been pretty terrible too, and I don't even have Comcast. I have the other one.
It's definitely not 99.9% uptime.
I mean,
All right, there we go. I think we're back.
we are back. Back in the new.
And I got the fix the stream title.
Yeah. Take that semicolon out of the way.
There's Steve. What's going on, Steve?
What's up, Steve?
Let's get everybody a second to get back in the chat here.
Fill it up. Fill it up. Come
As
on.
mentioned previously, we're going to talk about what we learned in 2020.
Yeah.
And most importantly, more importantly than what we learned, what we're going to do about it.
Yes.
Because that's the thing. Everyone's complaining and crying.
Oh, 2020 sucked.
But I don't know why I'm wearing the headphones still. What are you going to do about it?
Because
is
you
the
want to
question.
listen to my angelic, beautiful voice.
Well, I can do that without headphones.
I know you can. But
What are we going to do about it is the question. So let's jump right into it. Let's get going on this list here of things that we learned in 2020. And we want you guys to also drop what you may not hear on our list. So if we left something out,
Yeah.
this is important. We want to make sure we cover everything because we got to go into 2021 fully equipped.
Yeah.
What's up, Johnny?
We have to. We can't repeat 2020. We have to grow and do better. So let's cultivate a list of things that we've learned, so we can grow.
This isn't in any particular order, by magnitude or importance or anything like that.
Okay.
But the first thing that we learned in 2020 is that we no longer have law enforcement.
Yeah, we don't. I mean,
I think that's an accurate statement. Or I guess a more succinct way to state that would be the police no longer enforce the law.
yeah. Why would they? Because they're just gonna get shit on for doing their job, no matter what.
There's that angle. But the angle that I was going for was that you can literally burn down entire cities
Oh yeah,
and just get away with it.
totally.
You get arrested, and then you get released on bail within 2 hours, and then you're back out on the street.
Yep.
Looking at you, Portland.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what about Raz? It's Raz now, right?
Raz, Chaz. You can.
Raz, Chaz,
We've seen-
Chop.
We've seen these videos of they set up the Red House. You know about the
Red
Red
House
You guys know about
Autonomous
the Red House?
Zone.
So
Raz.
the Red House Autonomous Zone is a new autonomous zone in Seattle, or
Portland.
Portland.
Yeah.
And it's a house where somebody was going to get foreclosed on.
Mm-hmm.
The police moved in to try and execute the foreclosure,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially the commies rallied around the house, like
Mhm.
barricaded it with garbage,
Yep.
and started blocking off the streets,
Basically, what they kind of did in Chaz, you know.
just like they did in Chaz. They just set up garbage in the streets to
Yeah,
pretend
garbage
like,
and barricades and
cops aren't allowed in
yell
here.
at the cops and force the cops to go away because they don't want some person who probably shouldn't be living in the place that they're living is getting evicted, and they just want to drive up empathy.
So there's no, and then the videos that you see are of the cops getting literally chased out
yes,
of the neighborhood.
they're getting yelled at.
Getting yelled at.
They're
getting
not
chased.
even getting like assaulted. They're just getting yelled
No,
at.
they are being assaulted.
I
The
mean, they
cops
are,
they're
but
getting bottles thrown at
they
them.
are,
They're
but
getting attacked on the
Come
way
on,
out.
cops! Like, y'all are supposed to be tougher than this.
That's the point of the
Yeah.
item on the list, is the cops no longer enforce the
They
law. 'cause
don't. Why would they?
They stand around and they have a presence, and let's be sure to acknowledge the source, the reason why they don't enforce the law. It's the local governments.
Yeah.
Because the mayors or the police commissioners or whoever controls the police, sometimes, like in Portland, it's the same person. They say to the police, well, we don't want you to, we want you to not escalate.
Yeah.
We want you to keep, don't arrest anybody. Don't take any action. So the police do what? They show up and then they just get chased out because the police are literally getting chased out because they can't fight back and arrest someone who's
Yeah.
actively attacking them.
They can't arrest the person that threw a water bottle of, you don't know what kind of liquid at them, and they can't do
Oh,
their
we
job.
know. We know what kind of
They
liquid.
can't protect themselves. Like, if the police can't protect themselves, then why am I going to be allowed to protect myself? The cops can't even do it.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
such a sad time. Like, this is such a sad time.
guys, we're talking about things that we learned in 2020 and what we're going to do about it. The first item on our list we've been talking about is that we don't have any more law
we
enforcement.
don't have any more law enforcement
police
that
do not
actually do
enforce
their
the law.
job. Yeah, why would, like I said in the beginning, why would they?
So there's two angles to it. The first angle is that if you arrest someone, like the angle that you're kind of taking is that if I was going to arrest a black man and something went wrong with the interaction, then my life would be ruined because somebody would capture it on social media.
Yeah, some passerby with their freaking cell phone is just going to capture a video and paint me as this horrible police officer that is just doing my job and arresting somebody, but the person that's getting arrested is just non-compliant, just says the same thing over and over
that
again.
angle that I was taking with it is that the local governments aren't allowing the police to actually enforce the laws.
Yeah,
so
and that
when
too.
people are going around smashing windows,
That too.
burning buildings down, nobody gets arrested, nobody
Yeah.
gets actually charged
Why
or put in
would
jail.
Again, why would they? Because the minute they arrest the protesters that are burning and looting and murdering people, they're gonna get a freaking lawsuit from the ACLU or like, what is that organization? It's like the guild of like lawyers. So it's
National Lawyers Guild.
the National Lawyers Guild. So the minute you arrest them and send them to jail, the National Lawyers Guild is just gonna get them out of jail right
Yeah.
away within like a few hours.
Yeah.
So it's a cycle. It's an endless just cycle of just terribleness.
California hasn't been enforcing the law since OJ got away with murder.
It's true.
Someone
That's I mean,
Stalking Horse dropping some hot facts.
oh, Stalking Horse, you're the best. We love you, Stalking Horse. Well,
So-
at least I do.
So that's a pretty big thing. And, you know, I would say that's a pretty massive thing to learn about your country, that there is no longer any law enforcement.
Yeah.
And also at the higher level, to expand on this idea that we don't really enforce the law,
Yeah.
we've seen powerful people get away with things and not get arrested for anything at all.
Well, of course. Why would they?
So
They
we can talk about the two-tier justice system, but we don't have to talk about that anymore because we're now seeing scum, rat mutants getting away with crime,
Yep.
and the people at the very top now getting away with crime.
Yeah.
So, you know,
It's both levels of just terribleness getting
two-tier
away with.
justice system, I'd say that's baloney now. We just don't have any justice anymore.
We just don't have any justice.
The only justice that exists is social justice
Yeah.
now.
Social justice. So we're gonna just send each other mean messages on Instagram and Twitter and all this garbage. Like, that's social justice nowadays. It's quite pathetic.
So that's a pretty big one. No law enforcement in
No,
2020.
no law enforcement. So if anything bad happens to me, like, why would I call the police and to have them help me as a woman? Like, why? Like, they're not gonna help me. They're not
Well,
gonna.
we're going to get into in the second half of the stream. We're going to get into what we're going to do about these things because we know we have the facilities to use our brains, unlike roughly half the country. So
Yeah.
what we do is we take in these new facts and then we adjust our actions and our behaviors accordingly. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do about that in the
Let's-
second half of the stream.
Yep. Let's talk about it.
Second item that we learned in 2020 is that experts don't exist.
Yeah. Well,
have-
anybody can be an expert.
There's
so
no such thing as experts
anybody can be
in
an expert.
any field.
Yeah, anybody's an expert nowadays. You just make up whatever it is you're an expert at, and people believe you.
You have the proper titles or whatever on
You
your
have the proper titles on your Instagram, or you have a motivational quote on your Instagram that makes you an expert.
right.
You're an expert in happiness, so I'm gonna believe everything you say,
What's up, Dari?
even though what you say on your Instagram account that has like a cute quote on it, you say some hateful stuff on some other person's stuff, and it's just such a weird time we live in where
So,
there's
what-
no experts, and then there's all kinds of experts, but nobody believes the actual experts.
Well, here's what I'm talking about with the experts. We saw Fauci
Oh yeah, that expert.
lie about the masks.
Yeah,
The lie on video.
it was total lie.
say,
It's like,
no,
you don't need to wear a
don't,
mask.
don't wear the mask.
Don't wear it. That's not gonna help.
Guys like Eric Swalwell, we're basically retweeting him saying, don't wear masks.
Yeah.
He's got a tweet that's been screenshotted. He probably deleted it now, but
Yeah,
he
he's definitely deleted it.
He said, don't wear masks.
Yeah.
Back in probably like April or March,
I was
back
gonna say that was probably like March, April time.
Yeah.
When
So-
they didn't know what was going on with coronavirus, but they shut down states.
Statistical experts, we have people who have been telling us things about the election that have turned out not to be true. Everyone who's involved in polling or data analytics on politics was completely wrong about the election and the results.
Right.
Those experts don't exist. We can extrapolate this out to other fields like climate change now. So you're going to tell me that every expert we know in every other field is bullshit. Doctors, statistics, economics,
Math. Yeah, everything.
but those guys that work with very shoddy, rickety, weak framework that is climate science, those guys know what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
they know what's up.
So when they tell you to eat the insects, you're supposed to be like, oh yes, of course, give me the insects.
give
Give me a mouthful of crickets
yeah, nom
to
nom.
eat for the environment.
Yeah, not for the environment, Jeremy. It's
No,
for
yeah,
it's for humanity.
Well, yes.
Yeah, don't you know?
For
It's
the environment and in turn for humanity.
well, they say they're like it's for humanity. That's like all the vegans. They tell me they're like it's for humanity that I'm vegan.
Steve dropping the hot truth in the chat. He says,
Does Steve have a hot take?
no, Steve's got a hot fact. He says experts only matter to the media if they have the correct political views. And that is, in a nutshell, the point that I'm trying to make here is that experts don't actually exist.
No, they don't.
We just get whoever calls themselves an expert that agrees with what we already think, get them in, and then they'll spout out whatever we already know what they're going to say. There's no science involved where you trial and error. No, we already know this is how it is. I'm going to say it this way, and then they repeat it.
Oh, and also too, these experts are pretty good at just drawing you in and like tapping into your emotional vulnerability. It's like you need to wear a mask because it's proven science that it helps. Even though I don't know about you,
Be a patriot.
I don't know about you, but I've been to like, Costco's and Sam's Clubs and grocery stores where you should wear a mask. And you walk in and almost everybody's wearing a mask, especially here in California.
Yeah.
And that's what the experts are telling us to do. But how come we are having just surges and surges of cases if we're all doing what we're supposed to be doing, or a vast majority of people are doing what they're supposed to be
It's
doing?
interesting that you asked that question because, the next thing on my list, you want to read that one off for me right there?
Science doesn't matter.
That's the third thing we learned about in 2020 is that science no longer exists as we know it. So let me define what science is. To me,
Okay.
science is the process of trying something to prove a hypothesis. So, for example, in this case, you would lock down an entire state in an effort to reduce the amount of cases. You would mandate masks in order to reduce the amount of cases.
Yes.
And then you would observe the behavior after you enact the mandate. In our case, California, who's been locked down the entire time.
We've been locked down for
We've
9 months.
been locked down the entire time. We should look at this data and say, okay, so we've had masks on, we've had lockdowns, we've killing all our businesses, we're destroying our economy. What's the outcome been like? Has it been good?
No.
Have we lowered the number? Have we flattened the curve or whatever?
Yeah, whatever trigger shit that you want to put on.
What is the outcome in comparison to the hypothesis? That's all I'm saying. I'm not inherently against masks. I don't really give a shit. I'm just saying, let's compare the hypothesis to the outcome. That's how science works.
Yes.
And that is not what we're doing.
We're not.
Because we would make adjustments along the way. We would say, okay, well, here's a graph. At the bottom, this is where we initiated the mask mandates, and way over here, up at the top of this giant arc, this is 3 months after we locked everything down and mandated on the masks. But, well, I wonder how that happened. There's no thought involved.
There's not.
You don't re-examine your hypothesis or your methodologies.
You don't take a look at the data you've collected in order to better support your hypothesis, whatever it might be. Whatever your
That-
hypothesis might be. You're supposed to like look back at your data and then have some kind of
Take what you learned,
take what you learned and
restart the experiment with a different set of parameters.
exactly.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, science
We
science doesn't matter.
We don't care about science anymore.
Yeah, the way that we've done science before, that's a thing of the past. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we
Scientific method.
Yeah, the scientific method of testing your hypothesis and looking at the results and then adjusting your method and then doing it again and again and again. Why do any of that? Because, do you want to know why it is, Jeremy?
Why?
Because it's racist.
Oh,
Yeah, don't you know?
science is racist.
Science is
yeah.
racist.
No, yeah, I know.
I mean, so is math, don't you know?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Everything's racist. So
Everything is racist.
we're just gonna blame it on race, like we always do.
Okay.
And hopefully that will solve everything.
Okay.
'Cause
I'm cool with that. Yeah, I don't want to go to Mars or anything like
yeah,
that. You know,
I don't want to do better. I don't want
Yeah.
to scientifically and just in every aspect just figure out ways to do better. We're just gonna just blame it on race, blame it on powers that be, things that we have no control over, and
To-
just move forward.
To put it into a video game analogy, I don't know why it came up in my head, but when I think about geopolitical stuff, I like to analogize with video games like
Okay.
Civilization, where
Civilization's a good game.
you take all of your points and your development and your effort in because you can allocate your resources into science or culture or religion in different ways. You're taking everything out of science and you're dumping it all into basically religion now.
Yeah.
And then you're calling your religion science.
Yeah, you're calling your religion science.
Because what science has become, to follow up on our third item here on the list of things that we learned in 2020, science doesn't matter. To elaborate on that, it's become, science itself has become, this is what science is, and if you question it, then you're anti-science.
Yeah. And if you're anti-science, you're anti-human.
Which questioning is like the entire point
It is
of science.
It is. That's
Again, it's a process. You
It is a
hypothesize,
process.
you test to prove your hypothesis, and then you retest.
and then you retest and you keep doing it over and over again.
Now what we do is we say global warming is 100% man-made, and if you question that at all, you're anti-science. Masks 100% work to reduce cases, even though every indication we have otherwise would display otherwise. But if you question that, you're
anti-science.
You're anti-science.
And you're anti-human too, because you don't care about people because you don't wear a mask.
right, because it's always about people in the end.
It's always about old people, people that you never ever met in your life. It's always about them. It's never about
That's how they.
it's never about my personal liberty and my personal right to not wear a goddamn mask.
Well, they have to.
Sorry for swearing, folks, but
They have to anchor it into the emotional center of your brain, and the way that they do that is by claiming that there's a human cost to it, which is why we keep hearing the media always say, well, Trump personally killed 300,000, 350,000,
I've
400,000.
heard the media
That-
just say that over and over and over again about Trump.
That's the anchor, the
This
emotional
is
anchor.
what they've been peddling since the vaccines has come out. They're like, well, it should have come out sooner. If he had come out sooner, there would have been 350,000 less deaths.
That's how they
That's how they make up for it.
figuratively whip you into believing their or not denying or not questioning their side of the story.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then you have to you must be anti-human. You hate people. You want people to die.
People, you want people to die. You don't like old folks. You don't care about grandma and great auntie and whoever the fuck. Like you said, they tap into, like, the media is so good at tapping into that emotional side of things.
Well, they've got it down.
They've got it down. I mean, remember what was it, a couple streams ago we were talking about how Andrew Cuomo won an Emmy for all of his coronavirus briefings?
Yeah, he won an Emmy.
Or he was like nominated for an Emmy
He won specifically because of the manner in which he dramatized.
because of how
whole
many
ordeal.
tears he shed for all of the thousands
how
of
he made
old
it-
people
and
that
how
he exposed to
he
coronavirus.
made it into a compelling story
Yeah.
about, oh, there's all these people involved in complex interactions and storylines happening, and drama.
And he just was
Yeah,
the champion
that's
of
a good
all
point.
of them.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a good point.
I mean, we really kind of are in like this dystopian-esque future.
No, we are in the
We are.
dystopia.
We
We're not-
are.
It's not esque.
I
We're
try
in
to,
it.
you know me, I try to have hope.
No, we're in it.
I try to have hope. We definitely are in it, especially here in California. We are so in it. It's bad. It's so bad.
Let's jump over to the chat, see what's going on over here.
What's up, chat?
We got
We got lots of people in the chat.
Johnny Duran saying the chillest stream on YouTube.
I mean, we try. We're here.
And then he gave the white power symbol, so it's only appropriate that I give the white power symbol
I mean,
back.
I've had my roommate told me about the white power symbol, and I was just like, I get it, it's 666, but it's still like I told him like, but what about people who are divers that are like, okay, this means okay, that's what it means to me.
Stalking Horse says everyone is being crammed into big box stores. We'd be better off going to mom and pops, but they're all closed.
Yeah.
I was in Costco yesterday, jam-packed lines. You know, I was close to people everywhere, but
Did you wear a mask?
of course I wear a mask. They wouldn't let me in otherwise. Did you know?
Communists.
Did you see the video of the guy freaking out in Costco?
Yes,
That
I
was in
did.
Sacramento.
It was?
Yeah.
I wish I would have been there. Yeah, Sacramento on the map.
There's that.
Hell yeah. I saw.
So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, somebody got up with a little mini bullhorn, and he stood up in the middle of the Costco, like on all the clothes racks where they sell the shirts and stuff, and he's like, "This is all a farce. Everything with the masks. The reason why they're pummeling you so hard with the misinformation is because they know they're lying and all this kind of stuff." I'd recommend checking it out. Just Google Costco mask freakout.
I know about that video from Instagram. So for a lot of the conservative leaning folks in the chat or whoever's going to listen to this in the future, there is a lesbian Trump supporter on Instagram. Her name is The Gay Who Strayed, at The Gay Who Strayed. And she posted that video of that guy's freak out in the middle of Costco. So that's how I know about it. But I've bought merch from her and stuff too. So don't mean to plug her, but that's how I found out about that guy. Now that I know that it was from Sacramento, I'm like, hell yeah. Damn straight. Like I told you earlier, I was like, I wanted to try to go to Stop the Steal rally here in at the Capitol, but I was like, I didn't know if there was anything going on, and I didn't want to just show up and then there's nobody there for me to hang out with.
Not
So
worth it. What's up, Taurus? We got Anthony in chat.
it might not be worth it to you, but I wouldn't mind going and talking to some folks over there.
You're not going to talk to anybody at that. Look up the footage of Sacramento last weekend. It's Antifa. It basically looks like footage from Portland, where Antifa is literally chasing down and beating the shit out of people,
Yeah.
with the cops standing by doing nothing. You're not going to talk to anybody.
Well, I don't want to even talk to the Antifa. I just want to talk to the Trumpers and be like, hey.
No, there's no discussions happening. It's running and chasing and fighting. That's all it is.
I did see a video. There's this dude who's from SAC, and I've seen him at some of these rallies before, and he's in like a little little cart thing, but he's on like the Trump side. He's in a little cart. He films, and he got freaking like an Antifa person like hit him with a chain. He caught it all on video, and then he got a video of the freaking cops arresting that person, like that hit him with a chain. So I was like, okay, at least there's something going on there. But
Yeah.
I've seen him before at rallies, so if I ever see him again, I'll say hi.
Steve with the $5 super chat.
$5, make me holla.
Rest in peace, Julius Henry Marks. Gone too soon. We'll miss you, buddy.
Steve,
Not
we
soon
love
enough.
you and your super chats where you kind of semi-troll us.
Those are the best.
Those are the best. We love you. And I mean, anybody can go ahead and give us a troll super chat. I mean, we're not stopping nobody.
I love being trolled because I am a troll.
Yeah, he's a total troll.
So-
He's more of the troll of between the two of us. I'm the empathetic girl that's like, oh, like
Taurus says CNN would be outcompeted by this channel if this channel could just take over their studio.
I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
we have multi-million-dollar
We
production
just
here.
all we need is to not be shadow banned by YouTube. That's all. And then we're fine.
Are we getting shadow banned by YouTube?
Oh yeah,
We are?
absolutely.
You're seeing
I
it?
have 15,000 subscribers,
Yeah. And
my videos get like a few hundred views.
well, we're going to change that. Right? Right, you guys?
If you guys want to help me fight that,
Everybody
hit the
that's
like
on
and all
this
that.
everybody that's on this stream right now,
Right
hit the
around
like,
here, down here.
share, subscribe, hit the bell, so that way next time we go live, you guys get notified. Cause you guys want to join us up on here. Come on now.
Anthony says, "Welcome to the New World Order. Leave your thoughts and feelings at the door. The state will provide your thoughts and feelings from now on."
It just reminds
You
me
know
of,
what? Thinking and feeling is too much work.
no, we don't
I'd
want
rather
to.
just consume and have somebody tell me what to think.
I'd rather. I personally would not want to just consume and have somebody tell me what to think. I like having my own thought process. Thank you very much, Anthony. I don't want to say hello to the New World Order. No, thank you. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good off that,
Now
yo.
we've gotten a what's up from the chat.
What's up? What's up?
Let's jump back into our list of things we learned in 2020.
Things.
Now, keep in mind, after we go through the list, we're going to talk about what we're going to do about these things, which is the most important part. But let's see. So we talked about how we don't have any experts. Experts mean nothing.
And science doesn't matter.
Science doesn't matter, and
How we don't have law enforcement.
and the police no longer enforce the law. So those are the three things we've got. I've got at least one more on here, but I want you guys also, if there's anything we missed, drop it in the chat, because we want this to be a comprehensive archive of everything that we learned in 2020,
We want it to be seasoned.
and with as much snark as possible.
Yes.
Sarcasm is also good.
Encourage sarcasm.
Yes,
Encourage it.
Yes.
Like, please, come on. Like, hit us. Hit me with your best shot.
The most important, I left it for the last because this is the biggest one.
Okay.
And we kind of known this all along, but we've got confirmation essentially now in 2020, is that we don't have the ability to hold elections in this country.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
And I think that's probably what everybody really wants to talk about too, is election stuff.
Yeah, because we've been kind of silent about election stuff because, we're over here like, let's wait until this happens and this happens. And
I just don't really care, to be honest.
I know you don't. You don't give a shit.
I'm outcome independent
You are.
in more ways than just politics, but
You are.
I don't, I'm still going to do my thing. But I do understand. I mean, I had $400 on Trump, so I'm a little upset. But
Yeah.
but are we wrong? That we learned in 2020. I mean, we kind of always suspected that the elections are a little fuzzy. There's some shady stuff going on here and there. But now we've pretty much got confirmation that on a large scale, elections can be really effed with.
Oh, yeah.
And
This one definitely showed us that.
and there's we can go through the laundry list of different items of evidence,
Well, there's tons.
but
We're not going to do
no
that.
court has yet to even see or evaluate any of those items,
Yeah. The Supreme Court said no
which is almost
multiple times.
it's almost like that's a function of the system.
A little bit, yeah.
The system is set up in a way that, okay, you have 50 different states who all run their own elections.
Mm-hmm.
National elections. They all run their own elections, but it's
Yeah.
national results.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you standardize the performance? How do you standardize the auditing legitimacy of it?
Mm-hmm.
They all use different voting machines. They all use different companies. They have different methodologies, different systems. How could you possibly have what would be considered a free and fair election? And I want to preface this. Well, I guess it's not a preface at this point because I'm halfway into it, but most of the stuff that's done to delegitimize our elections is completely legal.
Yeah, it is. That's what's
Completely
sad.
So when I say we don't have real elections anymore, I'm not saying that there's just so much fraud happening that we can't trust the results, and then whoever really, really wants to get elected and wants to commit the most fraud will get elected. That's not what I'm saying. There definitely is fraud. But what I'm saying is that there's so many legal ways to manipulate the elections, such as Twitter, social media, censoring certain stories, censoring certain people, deleting certain accounts that are very prominent on certain sides,
Yep.
media choosing to cover certain stories over the
Absolutely.
other, blackballing certain stories, only focusing on one certain aspect of a certain person.
Yeah.
Totally legal.
Totally legal.
All legal. When we talked about a few streams ago, we talked about the news stories. They polled people, Biden voters, after the fact they voted. Were you aware of this story? Were you aware of Hunter Biden? Were you aware of the sexual assault
I
allegations?
think that was like a few streams ago we talked about that.
Were you aware about all these news stories that should have been
that should have been
news,
in your wheelhouse if you're politically
should have
minded.
been in your thought process, in your algorithm as you decide who to vote for? They should have been there. That was not covered at all.
That was not covered at all.
Because the media just chose not to cover
And didn't they ask them if you had known about this before you voted, would it have swayed your vote? And I think a good percentage of them said yes.
It was like a 17% swing overall.
It was a significant swing. Like if they had known about these things about Biden and Biden's connection.
And the positive things about Trump.
And the positive things about
Nobody
Trump.
knew about Trump's peace deals. Nobody knew about like the criminal reform,
the criminal justice reform, the First Step Back. They didn't know about the fact that he's trying to decriminalize homosexuality worldwide.
They didn't know he's trying to make advances in healthcare by reducing prescription drugs and doing the experimental treatment. What's that called? Where you can try something if you're dying, you can try an experimental treatment. Like the point is he's done a lot of positives that nobody's heard about.
He's done so many
Right
positives.
to try.
Yes. I was gonna say it's on the tip of my tongue.
So this is all completely legal for these elections to now be manipulated in these ways. So can you really say, knowing all of that, and also knowing that we have no way to audit the voting machines?
Yeah.
It's not standardized at all.
Yeah, no
Which
way.
if you've ever been part of any organization and you've worked with IT or anything like that, you know the goal is to standardize technology because you need to be able to quickly and easily audit, fix, repair, upgrade, downgrade, decommission, whatever you got to do to everything all at once, easily update it, everything. It's all the same, so I don't do that much work. We're going kind of the exact opposite direction of that.
A little bit.
With our voting machines. So legally speaking, and in terms of social media, the media itself, various other factors that are legally influencing the election, and then I don't even know. The question is, do you even know that your vote actually counted?
No.
Do you have any way to verify, validate that your vote went in and counted?
You don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
Neither do you.
None of us
don't
do.
have it either.
None of us.
We all went in and we signed. We did little bubbles and we put the ballots in the thing.
Yeah, we put the ballots in the thing, but
I have no idea if my vote actually went into the final tally.
yeah. Well, so I actually had that question for myself about, because I did the mail-in ballot, even though I kind of wish I didn't do the mail-in ballot, but because you could track your mail-in ballot.
That's true.
So I was curious about whether my ballot got approved or rejected or whatever the hell happened, because I held on to my mail-in ballot until election day, and then I put my ballot in in the box and all that shit because they wouldn't let me put it in the machine. I asked them. I was like, "Can I put it in the machine?"
Yep.
And they were like, "No, you have to put it in the box because it's the mail-in ballot." Fine, I'm not gonna argue with you guys. No, whatever.
Start a scene.
So I didn't want to start a scene, especially on election day, and also I'm not the kind to start a scene because I just don't give I don't give enough of a shit to start a scene about this.
Yep.
So I looked up my ballot online because, like I said, you could track your ballot. I was just curious. Did mine get approved? Did mine get denied? Did mine get even counted? So according to the website, which is, I believe it's like the Secretary of State or whoever is in control of the polls and whoever is in control of the election process. And my ballot got approved. So I don't know if that means like it was like counted or
that's the most information that you can get.
That's the most you can get.
But we live in 2020. Okay, we can send reusable rockets into the sky. We have satellites that give you high-speed internet everywhere. Why can't we have a system where we can validate a vote in a manner similar to, I'm not saying blockchain, but similar to blockchain, where there's records, ledgers of every transaction that happens, something that's publicly auditable. Why wouldn't you make it publicly auditable? is my question.
Because they got a lot of stuff to hide. But my whole thing with my ballot is I made sure to fill out every single one. Like presidential election, whatever the ballot, whatever was on the ballot, I filled it out. I didn't leave stuff blank because I've heard that for when you do the mail-in ballot and say like for people who when it came to the presidential, they didn't want Biden or Trump, so they left that blank. People can just go in and like fill in whatever the hell they want and say that like that's counted. So I made sure to fill in every single one for every single proposition. I was like, even if I don't really know, I'm just gonna fill it in, yes or no, yay or nay.
It's true.
Because that's like if you leave it blank and you're not having your stuff counted in the machine, you're leaving yourself at risk to have your stuff tampered with. And I didn't want that. I didn't want my stuff to be tampered with. I was like, I'm voting for mother effing Trump. Like that's my dude. Like I'm not leaving that stuff blank. Like that's my man. Like this time around, and I'm so sad. Like,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about things we learned in 2020.
things we all have learned.
Just
so
to recap our list.
just drop in the chat right now. What have you learned in 2020?
What did you guys learn we haven't talked about?
Doesn't matter if it's real or not.
First thing on our list was that police no longer enforce the law.
Of course.
Second thing was that we don't have experts anymore, and experts mean nothing. There's no such thing
And
as
science
an expert.
doesn't matter too.
Third thing is science doesn't matter.
Yep.
There is no such thing as science anymore. And the fourth and most important thing is that we don't have legitimate elections anymore.
Yeah, we don't. Why would we? Well, most people aren't even going out and voting anyways. Even though they send you your damn ballot in the mail, people still aren't voting.
Tor says 2020 wisdom. Life is a comedy to the ones who think and a tragedy to the ones who feel.
Right?
I guess that kind of sums up my
A little bit.
my perspective because again, I'm outcome independent. I'm not emotionally invested in the outcomes of things like the election, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of both, but I've laughed at 2020. I mean, for personal reasons.
We got some other ones in chat here. We say we got Anthony says aliens are real.
Aliens are so real.
They just don't like us yet.
Why would they?
Did we learn that in 2020?
Why would aliens come and mess with us? Because we're over here fighting about skin color still. Why would they come and like hang out with us and try to have a conversation with us?
Stalking Horse says the Secretary of State website uses solar winds.
Totally does.
Probably does.
Just like most of the state, they're trying to like rely on solar and wind power, but it's not working.
No. Oh, so you don't know about solar winds then?
Oh, is Solar Winds like a company?
Okay, yeah, no. Solar winds.
Oh,
I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but solar winds is the biggest news in cybersecurity right now. Solar Winds is responsible for our nuclear energy commission infrastructure being hacked.
Oh.
Solar Winds infiltrated Microsoft. They potentially had access to push their own modified Microsoft patches to every Microsoft machine out there.
Oh.
Solar Winds was responsible for the FireEye hack. FireEye is one of the premier cybersecurity firms in the country who was legitimately hacked via a supply chain weakness that got compromised by SolarWinds.
So it was a real hack and not just like they gave their password to somebody that they shouldn't.
SolarWinds is it's a company that got compromised by presumably China, but they're saying Russia. So that's what that means.
Oh, okay.
So he's joking that the election software was under the control.
Of China or Russia.
He's insinuating the election software was under the control of Russia or China. Most likely China, but probably China making themselves look like Russia or paying Russia to do it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Somebody's hacking somebody, and if nobody's hacking nobody, then some idiot is giving their password out there to
that's right.
get
Google,
hacked.
You remember when Google went down for like a few hours?
Yes.
That's Solar Winds.
That was Solar Winds?
Probably was Solar Winds. It was probably, we don't, they didn't give an official explanation, but it was probably them taking all their systems down to patch and remove the Solar Winds that they had in their infrastructure.
Wow.
So it makes you wonder. So if Google can be taken down by that, and they got into our nuclear energy facilities,
no. That's bad.
They got into the manufacturers, I forgot the name, but they make the actual missiles, and they got into the government side as well. Makes you wonder, why we're not paying more attention to cybersecurity. Arian says, Jeremy, sit up straight. You're going to screw up your back.
Looks like Delaney's taller than you. I'm sure she's not 6'3".
I'm trying to lean
No.
into the mic.
I'm not 6'3". I'm 5'10". So he is a bit taller than me, but...
I'm just trying to lean into the mic because it
He's-
doesn't reach.
And he's trying to be cozy. I'm trying to be, like, all proper and stuff, so...
So, okay. I didn't see anything else in chat aside from the aliens thing. And
I mean, we've discussed aliens.
China
and-
has the Dems in their back pocket. We did learn that as well, Dari. That's a good one. Actually, that's
yeah.
important because they have sent Chinese spies. That's another important one. China had a list leaked of the fact that they have thousands and thousands of agents infiltrating American organizations.
Oh, yeah. We've known this.
Which we've known
Known,
for
quote
a
unquote,
while, but
known.
now we know.
Now we know,
No
but
without air
do we
quotes.
care? No, because they're Chinese,
I'm
so
gonna
let
add-
them get away with it.
I'm gonna add that to my list if I can find my.
Find your pencil.
China owns us.
China does own us. They definitely own at least the west coast of the United States.
Completely. It's another important thing we learned.
Well, we own. Well, they. I think what's sad is like we technically own a lot of China as well, but they own way more like actual parts of us.
Well, when I say own, I'm using that word kind of figuratively.
Figuratively, yeah.
Yeah, like in a hacking sense. You own somebody. They just have
Own you.
subversive control over pretty much anything they want.
They do,
really.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see guys like, who's the rich guy that owns the basketball team, and he refused to say anything bad about China when they asked him. He was on that stupid TV show.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, yes. Mark
I was
Cuban.
gonna say, is it Mark Cuban? I bet I was gonna say it's probably Mark Cuban.
NBA
Yeah,
will say nothing bad about China
yeah, of course
because
not.
they have a big viewership over there.
Well, yeah, and also the NBA uses China to produce all of their gear and their Nike,
Their Air Jordans.
their Air Jordans, and they use
So
that.
that's a good one.
They use that slave labor and they only pay their employees like 3 cents an hour to produce Jordans and produce Nike products that cost hundreds
we
of
love
friggin'
slave
dollars.
labor. Don't talk about that. Ken says they might own you. Not here. Just saying. Oh, well, we're not talking about us specifically, Ken.
Not
They don't own me.
us. They don't own Weekly Narrative. They don't own Jeremy.
But
But-
if they want to send me a paycheck, I might consider it.
You might consider like some kind of advertisement fee from China. So if y'all want to, pay to have it.
Swalwell, the guy who was
Eric
so
Swalwell.
predominantly pushing the Russian collusion hoax,
Oh,
was in bed, figuratively and literally, probably, with a Chinese spy. Kind of makes you wonder if that had any relation to the fact that he was one of the loudest voices for the Russian collusion hoax.
yeah, and it was a hoax, folks.
Should at least make you
It
think.
was a total hoax, you guys. In case you don't believe it, if there's any lefties that watch this crap, like
Should
it
at
was
least make you think.
it was a total hoax. Russia was a hoax.
So, now
no
that
no PP tapes.
Now that we have this list of things that we learned in 2020, just to recap real quick for those who may have just joined, we have no real elections. We have no real law enforcement. The police don't enforce the law. We have no experts, and experts mean nothing. Science doesn't matter, no longer exists in any meaningful part in our society. And China owns us completely.
Oh, and I would like to add that if you have any kind of melanin in your skin and you do wrong, you can basically get away with anything. You can burn down cities.
Black people are immune.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of floats into no law enforcement.
I mean,
Because I
that-
do have a
it-
subtext
it-
underneath that
it-
says George Floyd.
Yeah, it does
So-
flow into law enforcement, but I think it's really true. I've seen it. They can get away with whatever.
So the question now is,
What are we gonna do?
to everyone in chat, now that you've learned this information, you've lived through 2020, you've experienced this yourself,
2020 in the United States, if you're lucky.
we can all acknowledge I haven't seen any pushback on any of these ideas. We've explained each one of them thoroughly. I think they're all fairly accurate, even though there's might be a little bit of hyperbole involved in each.
Yeah,
The question now becomes, what do you do about it? What are you going to change in your life to accommodate for these new facts, this new information? Are you going to continue living how the way you are, but just complain more on social media? Are you going to donate more money to the organization that you think is fighting on your behalf? Are you going to pick up a gun and go to somebody's house and do something? Or try to form a militia? What's your plan? I want to hear what everyone in chat thinks that they want to do to fight back against this, because I've been getting the question a lot. Is that the
What do we
question
do?
of how do you fight back, or what are we gonna do now? So I have my own ideas. I don't have the answer, but I have an idea.
Well, I mean, stalking horses right, buy more ammo. That's part of it. That's what I was gonna say. As a woman,
Well, who are you gonna use the ammo on?
nobody in particular, but just in case stuff pops off.
So the ammo is a good answer to no law enforcement.
No law enforcement. That's the
a
answer
good
to no law.
It's a good answer to that particular item on this list, which is that the police no longer enforce the law.
So I have to
it's now
protect
in
myself.
your own hands. So you're in your own hands to protect yourself. So that covers one item on the list.
That's one thing, but
Yes.
how do we combat
That is sufficient
that
to cover.
science doesn't matter and that experts don't there's no more
experts,
there's no
no
more
elections,
experts, there's no
no
elections.
science.
How do we combat that? That's a big question. So with the elections, I don't know, moving forward, how do we combat that? Like, stop mail-in ballots. How do we can't stop that, especially here in California,
So-
because too many people have adopted the idea that, oh, I'll vote via mail because that's how it matters.
Before I answer your question, I want to point out a couple things that
Okay.
people said in chat.
Look at chat. Let's do it.
Taurus says, "I'll become a Buddhist monk."
I thought
option.
about giving my life to God. Not gonna lie.
It's an option. Commander Osis says, "I'm going gray man and moving into the interior."
Whatever that means.
HB Lawrence says, "I will keep taking care of my family and close friends. All that matters."
That is.
Good answer.
That's a very good answer. I mean, that's all you really can do.
Dari says, "Homesteading and going off grid seems to be a thing right now."
It's what a lot of doomsday preppers are doing.
You're getting we're already in doomsday,
We are.
so you're not really prepping anymore.
Yeah,
It's here.
It's here. You got to have your bug out bag and everything ready.
Nightmare 5254, a new name in chat. I haven't seen you, but welcome.
Welcome, Nightmare 5254.
He's got an idea. He says, "I'm gonna go carry on as normal until World War III starts and get so bad the draft returns, or sit back and chill like normal."
Ooh,
So he's just gonna mind his own business until it really hits a fan.
I think that's the general consensus with people is they're just gonna mind their own business, carry on their life, go to work, do their thing, and then if World War III pops off, like most proud-loving, gun-loving Americans are gonna just defend themselves when the time comes.
Well, World War III, what does that mean? Like we're gonna fight China?
That's my opinion. Is on the West Coast we're gonna fight China, but I think it's gonna be like China and possibly like Russia and possibly
I want North Korea to send some ground troops.
maybe North Korea. Like just basically it's gonna be just the entire West Coast of the United States versus China, North Korea, Russia, and then like poor little South Korea is just gonna be in the middle, just sending their little pew, like little missiles like here and there when they can, because that's what they have there. That's why we're friends with them, is because we've taught them how to have weapons.
Commander Osis clarifies, his gray man means you are prepping under the radar.
Okay, I mean, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we got some good answers from chat, and actually a lot of them are very in line with my answer. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you, well, first of all, do you have an answer? Have you thought about this at all?
Honestly, I've thought
Like just to put you in a frame of reference and put you in the right frame in the mind. 2020 is pretty much done. You've learned all this stuff. You know what's going on now. You've got a clear picture of reality. Are you personally going to change, do anything differently, change your ambitions, change your goals?
I'm gonna change my goals and my ambitions. I'm gonna leave I think I'm gonna leave California. Not gonna lie.
That's a good start.
That
think that's good.
I'm gonna leave. I'm really considering leaving and going somewhere else and just
Okay.
trying somewhere else. And if it doesn't work there, then move somewhere else. Because that's the beautiful thing about the United States. We have 50 states to choose from.
50 states and freedom of movement.
And freedom of movement. There's always that possibility. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards, not gonna lie. After hanging out with you and talking to you and people like Cut from Cut Productions and talking about these things, man, maybe leaving California really is the solution, because California, the people of California have just kind of bent over and have been taking it for a long time. And I'm sick of it.
Or asking for it.
Or they've bent over and they've taken it, and instead of like sitting up and being like, okay, no more, they're like, no, keep coming.
Yeah.
Next
Right.
next one. Oh, China, you want a taste? Okay, you guys can go ahead and have a turn. Okay, Russia, you guys want a taste? Okay, you guys can have a turn. I'm sick of it. Like,
Okay.
I want to be around like-minded people that just don't want to bend over and take it anymore. I'm sick of it.
Interesting. Okay, so there you go. You're touching a little bit more on the points that I'll be making, and that's you want to be around like-minded people.
I want to be around like-minded people, and instead of around just people that, I mean, you've seen me in the beginning of our streams. I remember you asked me a few streams ago, you were like, what would you do if this happened? And I was like, I'll stand and fight. Now I'm kind of like, maybe I'll retreat a little bit and go somewhere else, because thinking about it strategically, like standing and fight, yes, that's noble and that's great and that's awesome.
Got to be strategic.
But you have to be smart and you have to be clever and you have to outfox them.
That's right.
And the way to outfox them is to leave and be around other people that are smart and understand what's going on.
All right.
And too many people don't understand what's going on. They're
like
so blind. It's so sad.
I like that answer.
I'm growing, Jeremy.
I'm a
trying.
strong influence. So, okay.
You are. I love
All
you.
right, let me give you my answer, because I've thought about this a lot. And I'm going to try to make this as succinct and clear as possible, because hopefully I want to have this clipped into a video of its own afterwards.
Let's do it.
This is the answer to what we do about all this stuff.
Okay, we're going to do a drum roll.
The degradation of society as we know it in all these different ways. And a lot of people already touched on it in chat. So the key, I think, to put it in one word, is decentralization. That's the first step. The second step is to do exactly what you said, and that is to start forming your own communities of like-minded people.
It's true.
So the reason that all this stuff is allowed to happen, all the things in our list that we're talking about, is because we no longer have, as conservatives or libertarians or non-leftists, anything non-leftist,
anything that's
which is a wide array, anything not
it
in that group, we don't have communities anymore.
We don't.
The weapon that they use to weaken us, that has been successful over the last few decades, is atomization. They started with the multi-generational family. Multi-generational families are gone.
Yeah.
Then they attacked the family itself, mothers and fathers. That's gone.
Yeah.
Before the multi-generational family, we used to have small villages. We used to have commonwealths. We used to have communities, physical communities of people who all lived together and died together because their survival was reliant upon each other. And they all had similar goals. And they didn't care about the fact that this guy over here liked the Bills and this guy liked the Packers or whatever it was, because they were all in the same village. This guy does the wood cutting and this guy does the blacksmithing. They need to
need each
coexist.
other. Yeah.
They have to coexist. So what we have today in contrast to that is you are a unit, a person, basically a barcode who produces something for somebody somewhere else that you don't even really understand.
Yes.
You work in a call center. You have no interaction with the person that you provide any value for. You have a manager who doesn't give a shit about you, but he sees your performance.
And then that manager reports
on
to
a
higher
chart.
ups. And
Your life basically has no meaning aside from the fact that you are earning a paycheck.
Yep.
So that's another problem, is that people's lives don't have any meaning.
They don't. Yeah.
That's why suicide rate is so high. That's why people are so depressed, so anxious. So I'm trying to solve a lot of different problems here. I'm trying to solve the fact that we don't have communities. We don't have any purpose or meaning in life anymore. And on top of that, life is way too easy. It's way too soft.
It is.
We've gotten complacent, so that when we think we're fighting back against things like no elections and police not doing stuff, when we post videos or make live streams or do tweets, we think that's fighting back. That's not.
It's
that
not.
ain't
It's
fighting
not
back,
actually.
because
Yeah.
we've lived such soft and easy lives that now that's the extent of the action that we want to take.
Well, I mean, think about it.
So-
Before social media, back in the day when you protested, you actually had to physically go up and actually go out there and do it. Now
Yeah.
it's like everybody's just protesting from home by posting
So
posting a
that's-
meme.
That's what I would advocate for. Is people have mentioned in the chat, going off grid, going basically creating your own communities within America, physically within America,
Yes.
but not connected to any location or in any way under the influence of any institutional powers.
Yeah.
Because the institutional powers are the way we got all this garbage in the first place. So if you were to, for example, look at the Amish community.
Amish are based.
The Amish existed in America. They have to follow
They're
the same
still
laws
existing.
and everything that we follow, but they exist and they thrive because they stick to their own communities. They don't care about externalities.
They don't.
They vote in the election, but they're going to be affected by the outcome of it. They're
Yeah.
still gonna
Either
do their
way,
own
they're
thing
going to do
either
their
way.
own thing. Yeah.
So outcome independence is another key big factor of this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's true.
Once you form your own community that's self-sustaining with people who are like-minded, and I'm not saying it always has to be in the woods,
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. I'm
It
just
can
saying
be
you
in
need to
this-
be around a group of like-minded people physically.
Yeah.
Once you're around that, you have self-sustenance.
Yes.
So the multi-generational family was the method by which we used to do that. Because if you got sick, you know you had to take care of the kids. Your grandparents could step in and help. You have multiple people working to maintain a household. Forming a larger version of that just makes you even more self-sustaining.
Yeah.
And that is the counter to everything they're trying to do to you today.
It's true. It is. You're.
When you get to that
I
point,
hate to agree with you too much, Jeremy, but you're not. You're pretty smart and pretty in tune with that kind of. You know, you're. I'm sure there's plenty
I told you I thought about this a lot.
There's plenty of argument. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people that could argue against that, but
But here's the thing. I don't think they could.
I don't think they
Because
can,
here's why this
really,
argument
yeah.
is great. Here's why this argument
that's
is great.
why I'm like, you really can't. It's a
Let me-
hard
I'm
argument.
going to elaborate even further on why not even a leftist commie could argue against this.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm advocating for is essentially
Communism.
forming your own commune.
It is communism. Yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
You damn commie.
there's some nuances to the system
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that you probably still have currency and you'd operate within the capitalism structure and all
Yeah.
that. But I'm just saying the same suggestion that I would give to the communists to solve their problem
Is the same suggestion you would give
is
to the
the
right
same
wingers.
solution. Go find some land and start a commune.
Start your own goddamn commune instead of complaining.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm utilizing my ability to have freedom of movement within the country to go somewhere where I can form my own community of like-minded people. And there's some words that are now popping up because people are starting to talk about this. Like Dari said in chat, I think it was Dari, and other people are talking about how off-grid living and starting to form communities is becoming a thing. People are calling it, I've heard Jack Murphy calls it information homesteading because you're homesteading in the age of information.
Yeah. Well, you got to have that internet though. That
And
internet though makes
you gotta
it.
have-
It's
we
a.
gotta-
It's
you
a.
gotta have
It's a big game changer.
Well, you also the fact that you're using information, we're in the new generation of warfare where we don't fight with bullets and guns and
Yeah, we
bombs anymore.
don't.
We fight with information,
Yeah.
which I think is something that Ken is alluding to in chat when he says no, because I think guys like Ken, they want to actually fight back.
Yeah. They
And
want to fight.
that's a valid response to my suggestion.
Yeah, of course.
But however, before I get into the rebuttal to that, like I said, I've thought about this already. I want to offer some examples.
Let's do it.
Pilgrims.
Yeah.
What did the pilgrims do?
Started their own shit.
They retreated and fled to start their own.
Start their own little
And
communities.
what was the result of that? You're living in it right
We're
now.
living in it right now.
The greatest
exactly.
country ever made.
Greatest country.
They fled a system that wasn't working for them.
Because they were
used their-
persecuted.
They used their ability to move freely, start their own community. So boom, there
Got,
you go.
found a way to come to the United States and start their own
Yeah,
settlement.
would you call the pilgrims pussies?
No.
Would you call them weak?
No.
Would you call them pathetic?
Absolutely not.
Would you call them losers?
No.
Neither would I.
I mean, they might have given smallpox to the natives, but I wouldn't consider them losers for that.
Nothing's
That was
perfect. RP.
that was just back in the day. They didn't have the medical technology that we have nowadays. So
Yeah, we don't need to get into the nitty-gritty.
we don't need to
details
get
of
into that nitty gritty details.
Okay, so we've had examples of this system, this process working in the past. But I want to get to Ken's point about how he probably wants to fight. Or some people do want to fight, and that's what the rebuttal will be to my suggestion
Yeah.
of basically retreating and reforming communities outside of the control of the institutions.
Yeah.
The rebuttal is, we got to fight back. Okay, I hear you. I hear it.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's-
I
let's-
want to fight too, but
I want to
don't.
fight too, but
I,
I've already
there's only so much fight a person has
I've
in
already
them.
examined the possibility of fighting because that is option number one.
Yeah.
But I want to paint a picture for you.
Okay.
We're talking about no legitimate elections.
Okay.
You can't fight through elections.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can't fight through that.
We have no experts. Science doesn't matter.
No experts, no science.
China owns us completely.
China
okay,
owns-
and we have no law enforcement.
No cops to back us up.
Just knowing all of these things that we've already talked about in the first half of this stream. When you say you want to fight, what are you fighting exactly? Because
Right.
to have all of these things come into existence, you have to have control over educational institutions. You have to have control over local governments. You have to have control over the education. I'm talking college and local K through 12 education,
Well,
which
and
are
I mean,
two separate entities.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it seems like the leftists have pretty much control over all of those things.
Wouldn't you know? So you have to have control over the media. You
They have
to-
control over that.
You have to have control over big tech.
Oh, they got that.
All of these are vectors by which they are attacking you. So when you say you want to fight, what are you going to do? Take a gun to the civic capital of your locality?
Right.
And do what exactly?
Do what? Shoot up a bunch of people and be that person on the
You're not gonna
news that
accomplish
that
anything.
that gives CNN their freaking viewership because you decided like I'm just
Exactly.
gonna go out and shoot a bunch of people because I
Exactly.
feel like it.
You're gonna go attack CNN, and then what are you gonna achieve? Okay, so you do a tiny bit of damage to this one attack vector. This is all still happening. Over all these other things are still happening to you. You're still being attacked from all these different dimensions.
Yep.
What do you mean by fight back? We don't have elections anymore. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, well, I'm gonna use our political system to enact the laws that I want to have in place. Oh, okay, yeah.
No, that takes a great amount of support depending on where you live.
So you're going to attempt to spend the entirety of your life becoming the president, which will not happen because you don't know the right people and you haven't been in the right circles.
Yeah,
To
you're
enact
just
laws
one
that
person.
nobody wants.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work either. So
Well,
you're
do
not
you know
going to
how
fight through
long-
the political system.
Do you know how long they've been trying to in California, the state of California, they've been trying to recall Gavin Newsom? It's been going
Yeah.
on since the dude got freaking elected.
Yeah, I have nonstop since I moved here. I've heard nothing about recall.
Non-stop. It's like recall Gavin Newsom. It's like, yeah, I'm all for that, but what's going to happen if I sign this petition to get rid of him?
The point that I'm trying to make is that unless you control, like I said, the goal is to remove yourself from the influence and the power of these institutions. Unless you control higher education, lower education, big tech, mass media, Hollywood, unless you control all of those, you're going to be under attack constantly. There's no way that you can beat all five of those.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna form a militia and you're gonna go march into CNN and Hollywood and just burn everything down?
Just burn, loot, and murder, just like
And
Black
just-
Lives Matter.
You're gonna blow up colleges. You're gonna blow up schools. Like,
Yeah, you guys are
you don't
basically.
understand. There's a system, a very rigid system in place. Okay, that takes your children, inputs them through the system that turns them into a certain output, which is what they want. And at every step of the way, there's a chain, a link, and you can't just take out one chain because the person still has to go through that whole process, the conveyor belt, so to speak. And you can't stop that. That's the point I'm making. So when you say, okay, so there's Ken. Ken says you give in and do what they want. That's weak. No. I'm not doing what they want.
We're not doing what they want.
What they want.
They want us to conform. We're talking about like not conforming and starting our own thing in our own way somewhere else where they can't have that authority over
What
us.
they want is for the productive members of society, the
to just
conservatives.
fit right in.
No, they want you to remain there and see all this happening in front of your own eyes, but continue to be net taxpayers, while all those people who are products of the system that are being legitimately converted into
Yep.
SJW zombies and whatnot.
Yes, the
They're
praise.
leeches on the system. They are consuming your tax dollars. They need you
Yeah, they do.
to be livestock for their tax machine. To enact all these programs that they want, they need you to pay into the system.
They do.
They need you to continue to participate, which means continuing to exist within that system. So we're doing the exact opposite of what they want. We're removing ourselves, or what I would advocate for is removing ourselves from every institutional control that they have.
So no, like taking your kids to the schools that are
Not
run by the
sending-
government.
Not sending my kids to the schools.
Yeah.
Not going to their colleges.
Yeah, not going to their colleges.
Not consuming their bullshit media.
Yeah, not gonna watch CNN.
Not paying for Netflix.
Yeah, not playing.
Which is going to be hard for some of you guys because you know they peddle pedophilia and whatnot, but you still pay for it.
Yeah,
but
you still
shouldn't.
pay the subscription even though you shouldn't.
So you have to take actions like this where you could try to somewhat exist in the system where you say, well, I'm not going to have a Facebook account. Oh, I'm not going to pay for Netflix. But you are still atomized within a system. And as long as you're atomized, you have no ability to influence anything.
Yeah.
No amount of tweeting or YouTube videos are going to change the system that you live in. You have to reduce the sphere of your mental kind of control where you think there's some shadowy figures who are having influence over your life at every aspect and every step of the way because, the government's out to get me here and this is, these guys over here are trying to attack me. You need to step back away from all that. Zoom out
entirely as much as you can.
Reevaluate what you care about. And that's what I talk about when I say I'm outcome independent. I don't care that Trump's losing.
Yeah, you don't care. Either way, you're going to
Because
be fine.
I will still succeed.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Zoom out.
You'll be okay whether Trump is the president or Biden is the president. I think too many people, it really depends on who's going to be the president and how successful they're going to be.
Their entire happiness and their existence is dependent
on who's the president.
on Trump winning or Biden winning because they're going to have some kind of mental breakdown.
It's happening on both sides.
I understand it. I really do. I fully understand that.
I get it, but you are. This is the thing that I've been trying to.
They've been tricked.
Yeah, they've been tricked, and you're smart for recognizing that the trick is happening, and you're like, well, it doesn't matter who wins. Like, I'll be fine.
Well, I don't blame them because you see these multi-million-dollar productions on CNN and MSNBC, and then the debates, and it's all fancy and flashy and new, and it's like, whoa, the guy's wearing a suit and tie.
Whoa!
There's lights over here, and it must be official.
Oh, this time they actually have the plastic freaking shit over during the vice presidential debates.
The plexiglass.
Wow,
this must have some kind of value because of the way that I'm interpreting what I'm seeing. This must be valuable. This must mean something. The Chris Cuomo on the fancy studio, what he's saying must mean something.
Yeah.
And no.
It doesn't.
It looks nice. It looks official. It looks like it's meaningful. But they've tricked you.
It's smoke and mirrors, my friends.
It's tricked you into believing
we've all been
that what they're saying
duped.
means something.
We've all been duped.
They're Fox News, CNN, they're all in the same boat. They all want you to believe that politics is going to affect your happiness and the outcome of your life in a very major way.
Yep.
When in reality it won't.
It won't.
How many major political changes have happened in the last 100 years that have massively affected the day-to-day livelihood of humans in America?
None.
I can't think of any.
I can't think of any, in all honesty.
Even something as stupid as like prohibition. Probably it's not that massive of a change.
It's not
day-to-day life.
Yeah, and even when prohibition happened, guess what?
Although if I was a criminal, I go from making a lot of money to no money, but
even when they were supposed to be making no money, they were still making money. So that's the thing that happened with prohibition. Yeah, they banned booze, but guess what? They were still making money. They were still producing alcohol. They were still doing whatever the hell that they were wanting to do.
Yeah.
The only reason Al Capone got caught was because of tax evasion. That was it. That's how they got him.
Yeah.
Was that he wasn't paying taxes on all the money that he was generating.
Z-Rune says smash that like, and I have to agree.
Smash it!
Hit that like button down there.
Like, share, subscribe.
To summarize again in a nutshell, for those who may have just joined, we've talked about what we learned in 2020 and what we're going to do about it. So what we're going to do or what I would suggest doing, and what I am actually working at doing right now, I'm actually working on making my own box truck conversion, mini off-grid tiny home.
He is, you guys. It's quite
So I'm not bullshitting when I say
he's doing quite an undertaking.
that I've
It's
thought
awesome.
about this quite a bit. So we have to arm yourselves. Yes, Ken, you're right, because now we have to and be our own law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We have to form our own communities.
Yes.
We have to find like-minded people. We have to reverse the process of atomization. Atomization, for those who don't know what I'm talking about separating families and communities into individual people. Mm-hmm. Individuals are powerless.
Individualism.
We have to reform our communities, and we have to remove ourselves from the influence of the institutions, which basically means get out of the cities, because that's where the influence really comes from.
It
The
is.
institutional influence comes from all the cities.
It's not good people living on top of one another like that. It's never been conducive to anything good in society.
That's also true, yeah.
Just people living on top of one another.
I'm gonna live in the van down by the river. That's right.
He is. He's gonna live in a box truck, and yeah, with your
I don't know if I'm gonna live in it. I'm gonna use it as an RV for a while. It's like
it's gonna be dope as hell. I can't wait to when it's done. I can't wait to see it because I know it's gonna be cool because it's put together and designed by him. So I know it's gonna be something interesting to see that I've probably never seen.
I'm not gonna toot my own horn yet.
I'm gonna toot your horn because I think you're awesome, Jeremy, and I'm pretty sure all the viewers will agree with me on that.
Well, I don't know if they agree because I've been ranting for the last 20 minutes. I want to go and get into chat and see what chat said about everything that we had to say here.
Even if you disagree, go ahead, let us know what you think.
Yeah, no, what do you think about the idea? Okay, so this is big. Okay, because you guys can't just sit around
and just agree
and do everything normally with the same priorities and the same ambitions as you did before 2020 happened. If you do that, then you're just a complacent, lazy person, and you can't just sit around and complain without taking action. Okay?
Yeah.
So
complaining without action is just lame. It's just low energy.
I'm not saying my idea is the best or the right one. I'm just saying that's the idea that I've thought of. And I've tried to think of all the angles. Mm-hmm. So.
And I mean, it's not the worst idea. So like we've said, if you have a counter, if you have something that's better besides standing up and fighting and shooting people and killing people, we're glad to hear it.
Much, and it won't really get you anywhere anyway.
Yeah, it's not, like, of course, like we all want to stand up and fight. Like, who doesn't?
Anthony's got a good suggestion. He says you could just learn Cantonese and give up.
Just bend over and learn some Mandarin and Cantonese.
That is a valid option, I think.
That is a very valid option, which I'm pretty sure a lot of Californians are doing. As I've discussed in previous live streams before, I think there's going to just be a huge populace in the state of California, Oregon, and Washington that are, when the Chinese do invade, if they ever do, they're going to be like, okay, we'll just go to re-education camps and learn Cantonese.
There's been, for those who might be on the more conspiratorial side, you might be interested to know that there's been a lot of interesting military activity happening lately.
I've heard about the Chinese, and they've been moving ships closer to the West Coast.
America has been repositioning battle fleets, ships. Mm-hmm. They've been repositioning troops. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I want
to look into that.
I called it months and months and months ago that China was probably going to invade. If not the United States, they're going to invade Canada first because Canada is a bunch of pussies and we'll let them come in.
Stalking Horse says the left says if the red states succeeded, I think he means
seceded.
That if they seceded, they'd be third world country. I'll take it if I don't have to put up with the left. See, that's the glory of my idea. So imagine if I could snap my fingers right now and take all of the intelligent, rational, productive people out of the society that is parasitizing all of their productivity. If all that productivity is gone, what happens to all their bullshit? All their feminism, all the social justice, all the lies they tell each other all day long, all the pronouns. You think that's going to sustain itself?
No, because they're going to be too busy like working and being productive.
Do you think? No, I mean the left that are devoid of all of our productivity and tax dollars. Do you think that can self-sustain without leeching off of our productivity?
No, absolutely not.
No, they can't.
They would die off.
That's why that's the glory of my system.
The only men that the feminazis and all the left that all the left have are a bunch of just beta males that don't know how to change tires and don't know how to do anything. So it would be up to the women to run their society. And
They couldn't even chop wood.
I don't even mean to be sexist, but because I love my females, but we wouldn't be able to run. Women would not be able to run stuff. I lived in a house full of all females,
I
and
didn't say it.
almost everything was like broken, half put together. Whenever a man would come into my apartment when I had 3 females, almost every man that would come into my apartment, they would be, "Can I fix something for you? Because I just see that this is broken." They would just want to fix stuff for me. So that's what happens when you don't have men in the house.
If
Nothing
science
gets
were
fixed.
real, I could point to evidence to what you're saying is true, but science
Science
no
isn't
longer
real
exists,
anymore,
so
so gender is
we're all equal.
gender is non-binary, and we're all equal, and there's no such thing as biological sex. Men can be women, women can be men. It's all just made up.
Can
It's
we
all,
flash mob not pay taxes?
that would be nice. Instead of like paying taxes, you have to just devote a certain amount of hours of your life per year to doing a flash mob, some kind of scenario. That would be cool, but not realistic. That doesn't pay bills.
Ken's talking smack. He doesn't like my idea, but he has yet to offer any rebuttal.
Yeah, I mean, Ken, it's great that you
You
are.
can call me a wimp, Ken. That's fine, but you got to give me a reason.
I don't think you're a wimp, Jeremy. I think you're one of the smartest persons that I know. And I'm not saying that you're not brave,
I
Ken.
like criticism because I need the idea.
I mean, I know you like criticism, and I'm not saying, Ken, your idea is totally brave and noble and great and all, but I want you to survive, Ken. I don't want you to be one of the one that gets mowed down by all the zombies when the Chinese invade. And best believe you're going to be one of them if you just want to stand up and like if you want to stand up and fight instead of like survive.
I want Ken to define what fighting back means.
Yeah,
'Cause
what
like
does
I
it
said-
mean?
Like I
Are
said,
we going to just
you
mow
have to
down like
fight-
the zombies?
You
Like
have to fight 8 different enemies, and you know what they say about starting a war on 2 fronts.
you're going to end up losing.
Ask Hitler how that worked out.
Yeah, for real. I said Elliot Page is more of a man than those beta feminist males. You're Oh yeah, a little bit. Although I think Elliot Page is a trender, not a real trans person.
Elliot Page is what happens when you go vegan for too long, and you just become so mentally ill that you start to think you're the different gender.
Right? A little
'Cause
bit.
I'm pretty sure she was like super vegetarian or vegan or whatever too.
Probably.
When your brain doesn't have the right nutrients for a long time.
You're sucking down that
And I'm not
estrogen
even,
too much.
I'm not even being hyperbolic with that either. There's a vast deficiency of nutrients that you lose when you go vegan.
I agree with you 100%, and that's just. And I don't mean to talk shit about the vegans, but because there are a lot of vegan. There's some vegan food that I don't.
Maladaptive behavior.
There's some vegan food that I don't mind eating, but I do eat meat because it's what I need.
Because you're supposed to.
Because we're supposed to. It's what we have here for us.
Diary says, try to become more self-reliant. Figure out a way to live with less and be nimble and mobile if and when necessary. Yes, I think that's also all good.
That's
good points.
that's good like for just people who don't want to subscribe to like that commune idea, who are just like
I'm gonna call it a commonwealth.
Commonwealth. We're gonna go British now. We're gonna go total British.
Well, it sounds better than commune.
Well, I mean that's kind of like.
But again, it's not even a commune because it's not to each, to whatever the thing is, from each according to what they can give, and to each according to what they need, whatever that BS is.
Yeah, whatever the communists want to say.
No,
but according
we're
to communists,
capitalist.
Yeah, we're totally capitalist.
Just
like
operating in our own optimized version.
Yeah, wait, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as many streamers have said in the past, if you want to be a communist in the United States, you want to start your own commune where it's self-sustaining, you have your group of people that live on this piece of land that you own, you're totally in the right to do that. But just don't sit there and expect everybody else to follow suit and think that that's what they want as well.
Because what's going to happen in the leftist version of this idea is they're going to have a bunch of like freeloading losers.
Oh yeah.
Who can't do anything, show up and be like, "Hey, food, please." In my version of that, you get exiled immediately.
Yeah. If you don't work, you don't get nothing. You don't get nothing. I'm gonna be totally grammatically incorrect and say you don't get nothing.
Ken says, I'm thinking you are one of the runners that hide and wait for others to help them. I see no plan, but abide. Weak. Ken,
Okay,
you
Ken.
have offer an alternative. Ken.
Besides, like, standing up and fighting and, like,
Just
getting
offer,
shot in the process.
No. Even if that's your alternative, then offer it up. But I want to hear an explanation.
Right? Like, it's still not an explanation or a.
That's how this channel works, Ken. If you offer a better idea
Well,
and we
listen.
evaluate it, then I will then acknowledge and accept your idea.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not here to. This isn't like one of those leftist streams where I just say what everyone wants to hear.
We're not
And then they're all like, true. They just spam true in channel day, because that's all they do is they want to hear what they already believe repeated back to them. No, this is a discussion. This is a two-way discussion.
Yeah.
So if I say I propose A, and you say no, I don't like A, then propose B.
Propose
so
B.
that I can hear and evaluate.
And then we can
B.
hear B, and then we can come up
as
with
detailed
C
as possible. Yeah.
or D or E or F.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just come up with something else.
It's almost like that's close to the scientific method.
Right? Close to, but we know science doesn't matter. Science doesn't exist anymore.
I have a hypothesis, and I want to test it out. And if there's a better version of that hypothesis, then I want to know what that is.
Right.
So, don't just say my idea is bad. Give me an alternative that's better.
I mean, there probably Ken's alternative is just living in America and
I think Ken
being
wants to go
under this, like,
he wants to go Rambo.
Yeah, he does. He probably wants to go like Rambo or Mad Max and just mow people down with his gun and not give a crap about human life.
What I'm proposing actually is Mad Max.
In a little bit, yeah.
You got Gas Town and Bullet Town and the Water Town. I want to just form Gas Town. That's all I want to do. That's my idea in a nutshell.
Ken says, I hear you, but you saying not fighting back isn't right. Okay, we're not saying don't fight back, Ken. If you want to fight back, Ken, go for it. But we want to survive and live.
I already gave my rebuttal to that point. It's the Pilgrims. Are you going to say the Pilgrims were weak? Do you say the Pilgrims were running? Because that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at it this way. I'm going to analogize it in a different way. Because this is how I analogize the commies complaining about everything. Commies, they go into a Best Buy. And they look around and like,
so much capitalism.
No, they don't sell bathtubs here. I was like, wait a second. Why don't they sell any bathtubs? This isn't right. In this Best Buy.
It's Best Buy.
And instead of moving out the door and over to the bathtub store, which is right next door, they stay in the Best Buy and they just complain and cry and whine that
there's no bathtubs here.
They start to form riots inside. They form protests. They hold signs up. They say, Best Buy needs to sell bathtubs. It's like, bro, you could just move.
There's a place right next door where they sell bathtubs.
I get that you don't like Best Buy. I also don't like Best Buy. But instead of staying in there and crying and whining about the fact that they don't sell the product that I want or that it's not exactly to my specifications, I utilize my ability of free movement and my independence and my free will to go somewhere else that better suits my needs, which is exactly what the Pilgrims did.
Not to mention, it's for your sanity. Like, why would you want to sit there and complain about something?
That too.
Why would you want to? Like, when I was a child, my mom, when we would go to like Walmart or wherever, and we would be waiting in line, my mom would make the great point of, why are there's like 16 16 checkout stands for Walmart. Why are only 2 of them open and I have to stand in this long ass line? Why can't they just open up more so that way we can freely move and go to the line that has the least amount of people? It's the same kind of like idea. Like, we all have the ability to freely move about how we want, but we've been so, I don't know, just corralled or brainwashed.
Corralled is a good word for it, yeah.
To believe that like we only have like these certain amount of options to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think Ken, in his mind, he's like, standing up for myself is defending where I'm from and standing and dying for it, which is cool and it's noble. But like, your idea of standing up for yourself is like, I want to be able to freely move, and that's how I stand up and defend myself. It's like, if a threat is coming this way, I want to go this way, so that way I don't have to like die and deal with it.
Stalking Horse says, you already answered your own question. Walmart.
Yeah, right.
Because they sell everything there. Okay, so here's another take on this answer. because what I am doing is fighting back, in my opinion.
You are fighting in your own way.
But so if we're fighting a war with an enemy, and one method of back in the days, for example, is of defeating an enemy who's got like a strong entrenched stronghold, like a castle.
Yes.
All you do is you wait outside and you disrupt the supply line
Yes.
that goes into it, so they starve themselves.
Strategy.
100% effective technique. What I'm advocating is that we step back out of the city. I don't want to launch catapults at the city.
Yeah.
I don't want to burn it down.
You don't. Yeah.
I don't want to try
I
to
don't want to
infiltrate
have to
it.
kill people.
I don't want to
and-
infiltrate it. I
yeah.
want to step back way back here, and I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to disrupt the supply chain into that city, which is my tax dollars and my manpower and my humanity. Wherever I live, I contribute to that local place. I'm removing myself from that. I'm choking them out of the resources they would get from my productivity. I think that's a valid way to fight.
Yeah. I mean, I think
also
so
fart
too.
in their general direction. Yes.
Of course. Why not?
And it's more of a long-term thing.
Yeah.
So
well, it's more strategic and smarter, more
So-
smart, whatever.
to give another battle analogy, you wouldn't guess that I have the Art of War sitting right underneath my laptop over there. We're routed right now. So routed, if you don't know what routed means, it means that we're in a kind of a state of disheveled retreat. Whether you want to agree with that or not, the conservatives and people who believe in Western values, we're definitely routed right now.
We are.
We're routed by global powers. We're routed by institutions in America who are all under control by people who hate Western values.
Yes.
We are routed. The last thing that you do when you're routed, Ken, is just fight back. You have to regroup.
Yeah.
What I'm advocating for is a strategic regrouping, reforming the communities, re-strengthen ourselves. And then you can continue on after that. By the time you're ready to do anything after that, by the time you get developed and set up and ready to go, these people are all going to be dead because your labor and everything that they were leeching off of you, they're going to die by the fact that they don't have you to parasitize anymore.
It's true. That's a great, what is that, a verb or adjective?
Parasitize?
Parasitize.
Adjective, I think?
I think
no,
it's
verb. Yeah, I don't know why I thought adjective. Verb. It's an action.
Yeah.
Parasitize.
That's a great one. I
I'm
heard you use that earlier and I was like,
I'm
ooh.
trying to bring it back. Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
I'm trying to bring it back.
Ken says, I'm thinking you two have never provided anything to this world. I think you two are waiting for everyone else to provide you with these freedoms. Tell me something you've done for this world. Well, Ken, that's your personal opinion. So, opinions are like assholes. We all have them and we all don't think that they stink, but guess what they do? So, it's great that you think that, Ken. Maybe in your opinion I haven't, or maybe Jeremy hasn't. But that's, again, it's your opinion. So
I'm probably the least leechy person you've ever met.
I'm probably more leechy, but that's
in
fine.
my age group. So I paid my own way through college. Got my degree in a well-studied area that I knew was going to be profitable, and now I'm in basically no debt. I'm productive, and I'm working towards forming this idea that I have into reality. Actually, physically working at it. But what I would answer is that I'm providing the preservation of Western values,
Yeah.
which is more important than going out and chopping somebody in half with a sword. I want to, ideologically and physically, create a community where we value Western values over everything else. A total rebuke of everything that's happening in modern America and basically in the world today.
Yeah. You like one? Yeah.
And I'm putting my ass on the line to do it.
Yeah, he
because
is.
guess what? I'm on YouTube right now. If Ken may have not seen my videos, I've been harassed, attacked. I've had stuff stolen from me. I've been doxxed. I've put myself at risk in order to preserve and perpetuate these values. I've put myself on the line. I've evaluated the risk and I've taken the risk in calculated ways. So, can't really say that I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Now, I haven't enlisted in a war and fought and killed some people in the Middle
Right.
East for absolutely no reason. And
Neither one of us
which
have.
would probably be the only alternative, more extreme than what I've already done.
Right?
Joining the military.
Yeah.
Joining the military anytime in the last 30 years means that you're wasting your time killing innocent people.
Yeah.
We're not defending shit. You're not defending America. You're taking oil or
Whatever resource it is.
occupying land for basically no reason. So if you were to offer an alternative and say, well, you should have enlisted and fought for your country, that's really not, it hasn't been an option for me because there haven't been anything for me to defend the country against.
Right.
Our enemies are domestic right now. We have
They're
no,
not everywhere
and I
else.
am fighting my domestic enemies as much as I can.
For real though. Ken. Oh my goodness, Ken. You are
I'm glad he's asking because I wouldn't have any other reason to explain that.
yeah, I mean, Ken, we still love you and appreciate you in the comments. It's good. Like we appreciate the pushback.
I give a lot of tax dollars, Ken. Come on.
Yeah. Ken says they fight back but wimp down for FFS, for F sakes. Okay, cool.
What's up, Dave?
You know, you could say you in your mind think that we're wimping down by being strategic and trying to be smart and
No, Ken's in timeout because he has yet to offer any alternative.
yeah, besides, oh, you guys haven't served your country and
I'm
done
not,
anything.
I'm not reading any more Ken comments until he offers a valid alternative.
Yeah, Ken, come up with an alternative other than saying that we're disqualified because we haven't served our country.
H.B. Lawrence says conservatives need to have a bigger voice. We need to fight to take the narrative, be louder than mainstream media. Okay, so H.B. Lawrence brings up a good point,
That's
but
a good point. Yeah.
that's still only one of like the 8 vectors under which your life is under attack by leftists. So you want to take out the mainstream media. Okay, so
That's
you
one.
still got lower education, higher education, big tech, Hollywood. You're still under attack
Yeah.
by all these other things. So it's a good. I like the idea. I like the effort and the narrative there.
Not to
but
mention family values.
I don't see it being very effective.
Family values, which is like at the core for the conservative movement, is completely out the window for a lot of people. They don't care. Like, you try to talk to people about the nuclear family. I've tried to talk to people about that. I'm like, I believe in the nuclear family, which, in case y'all don't know, which is a mother, a father, and their children. Mother, father, married, raising their children. People don't know what nuclear family even means.
That's a big component that I didn't touch on in any of my explanation, but that's probably the most important part: is starting your own family. Starting your own family and then starting a community.
Yeah, having a family is the.
If you want to spit in the face of leftists and everything that they're trying to do
get
right
married,
now,
have children, and
get
raise your
married-
children.
Get married and have kids.
Get married, have children,
Yeah.
and raise your children together in love, like with value.
You're hearing all this stuff like, oh, I gotta go live in the woods and then like
need to
form a
live in the
community
woods.
and all that stuff to fight back. No, you don't have to, and you don't have to go to that extent, and you don't have to feel guilt about not being able to fight back because you don't have 80 million Twitter followers that you can spout propaganda to all day. Just start a family. That is a massive spit in the face of everything that the left stands
That's
for.
a massive middle finger.
That is the biggest thing that you could probably do with your life, unless you want to become like a cult leader like me. That's pretty much the biggest and best thing that you could do. So do it.
Just get married,
don't have
have
to- you don't
kids,
have-
stay married.
You don't have to do all the crazy stuff that I'm talking about. Just get married
The
and have kids.
simplest thing you can do. Okay, Dave. So simplest thing you can do, and encourage your friends and family members to do, and the upcoming citizens of this country, get married, have kids, stay married. If you want to spit in the face of leftists and just give a big F you to them, get married, have kids, stay married. For real though, you're right.
Dave says, I've put my life on the line for this country. I took a bullet to the neck. I took a bullet to the lung. I placed my life on the line. I don't want war in the United States.
I agree, Dave. Neither do we. That's why, well, Jeremy, I don't know.
First of all, thank you for your service. And
Thank
for
you,
going
yeah.
through that. I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
But that's what I hear all the time is that everyone talking about the left and all the keyboard warriors on the right who are crying about civil war don't realize that everybody who's actually seen war
They don't want it.
doesn't want it because they know what that means.
They know exactly what it means.
They've had close
destabilization. It means.
What it means getting shot in the neck.
It means getting shot in the neck, and especially in this case where it's more likely a more of a civil war than it is like a outside force invading us.
Yeah.
That's scary to think about. Think about like
because it's going to be dirty guerrilla warfare
and
constantly.
you're gonna be
small-scale
fighting with
things.
people that you know.
Yeah,
Nobody wants that.
It's not lines of people shooting muskets at each other. It's not even two armies
It's
of
your
tanks
family,
charging at
it's
each
your
other.
friends,
It's your
it's your
family
community.
destroying itself. It's you getting into fights with people at the grocery store, violence breaking out. It's somebody getting stabbed in the back of the neck while they're driving the Uber, which just happened here in Sacramento. Because, there may be a political ideologies involved, but,
We'll see as the story
that's
unfolds.
exactly what's going to happen. If you get in an Uber and somebody's wearing something political, they could just get attacked for no reason. You got accosted in one.
I did. I got kicked out of a Lyft because I had the nerve to tell the driver that George Floyd didn't die from. Well, he did. The police brutality wasn't good, but I said, well, he had a lethal amount of fentanyl in his system, dude.
You have a different opinion.
And then the driver got mad and kicked me out of his Lyft.
You don't get to use those services anymore,
Yeah.
so you kind of get exiled from
Oh yeah.
society.
Well,
in a way.
I got a health and safety violation from Lyft coming over here earlier because I didn't wear a mask in the Lyft, and the driver reported me. So they told me, they're like, if you get reported.
Civil war is like a long, drawn out, burly, just dirty guerrilla warfare on many different levels, and you also have to consider that we are in the information age. We're now in I think the 4th generation of warfare. We don't fight with guns and bullets and physicality anymore. We fight with information.
In our minds.
Information.
Ken says, "Nah, we'd rather fight with people that
No more
we
Ken
do know."
comments.
Okay,
Until he offers an
no more
alternative.
Ken. Okay.
H.P. Lawrence says, in response to my response to him, he says, "I guess I'm thinking more mainstream, more broad exposure, break the bubble, expose the lies. Turning public opinion can go a long way." Well, that goes exactly with what we just said, is that we're now in an information war.
Yeah, we
So
are.
if you wanted to fight this war, it would be on an information level. So you're definitely on the right path.
We are on the right path, but the thing that sucks even more is I have people sending me pictures and memes of things to talk about possibly on this podcast. And then I go and Google it, and it's immediately you get the mainstream media saying this is false, this is false, this is false. So it's we are in an information war because we have one side of the media saying something is false, and then we have another side of the media saying something is true. So how do we disseminate what is true and what's false? And
Well, it's also, it goes deeper than anyone can even really think about because it's on a super technical level. The algorithms that even decide what you can even see when you go to search for that kind of stuff. Like if I go to search Google for Alex Jones, am I going to get a link to band.tv? Am I going to get a link to DLive?
No.
Am I going to get a link to BitChute?
no,
Because Google doesn't index those sites.
why would they?
Doesn't
They don't
index
like him.
Rumble. You're not going to get Rumble links. If you go to the videos tab on Google search, you're not going to get any alternative options because the algorithms are set up in a way where they don't even index those.
Yeah.
So the information is not even really available to you.
If you did Google Alex Jones right now, it would probably pull up the Wikipedia page about him
and how he's a racist.
and how
conspiracy
he's a
theorist.
conspiracy theorist and
Yeah.
all of this opinion about him. Instead of pulling up his own website in his own voice, what he believes
if it was
in.
entirely natural and organic, what you would see with no filters, probably the first result would be his website.
He should be.
Second result would probably be his ad for Brain Power Force,
Mm-hmm.
which he would probably run if he wasn't banned from Google Ads. And then the third option would probably be band.tv.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth option would be BitChute and then DLive. And then if you go to the videos tab, it would be all
Mm-hmm.
these alternative media links. And then his Gab page or his Parlor page.
Mm-hmm. That's how it should be, but instead
That's what it would be if it was organic.
it just takes you to his Wikipedia.
That's why, information war. That's the information war right there. in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
it is the information war. So
5th generation warfare, propaganda. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
it is.
That was one off.
Yeah, so instead of 4th, it's 5th. Sorry, Jeremy. You weren't wrong. You weren't right about that, Jeremy. There's one thing that you're not right
If I was
about.
right every single time, then I'd be Jesus, and I'm not.
Yeah, you're not
I'm
perfect,
not Jesus,
Jeremy.
so
You're damn near there, Jeremy. You're damn near close to him, but you're not quite Jesus.
Fifth generation warfare. Yeah, people need to familiarize themselves with that terminology. Fifth generation warfare. I'd recommend checking out Jack Murphy's. Jack Murphy. He goes on Tim Pool a lot, but he talks about fifth generation warfare quite a bit, and it'll help you understand the nature of why winning anything anymore is not going to be done through guns and knives and explosives and tanks. We're way
past that. The internet changed the game on that completely.
Yeah.
It really did. Yeah. We're way past muskets and bayonets and back in the
physical
warfare. And also even back in like the 60s and 70s when they had spies and that kind of stuff going on. Like espionage. We're way past even that now. Like we have spies. Like our spy and like our intelligence force in the United States has grown exponentially. So we have all of that. And that's what it's grown to. It's just all about covert shit. It's about propaganda. Yep. It's about swaying things, like getting people to think the way that you want them to think.
It's all subversive.
It is.
Subversive control over your mind and over technology.
This is an ancient power. This is something that goes back to the ancient times of the Egyptians. The Egyptians, like, how do you think they got the pyramids built? They brainwashed people to build that shit for them.
Aliens built the pyramids. Everybody knows that.
How do you think the aliens did it? By brainwashing. Brainwashing and manipulation.
How do you think the aliens got the spaceships in the first place? They brainwashed their own people.
They brainwashed people. Well, I mean, they got here and then they brainwashed people to build the pyramids. They were like, hey, we'll give you this shit if you do it.
Stalking Horse says, keep the guns and militia in reserve, an army in being that you can threaten to use, but your main weapon is media and change public opinion.
Yes, that's, I mean, I've talked about how
that's why we have a live stream.
That's why we have a live stream.
We acknowledge that fact that, information is the main way that you're going to change anything. So here we are trying
having
to do
conversations and trying to bring people in,
influence people,
trying to influence. That's all we can do.
The guy with the big beard. Exactly. That's Jack Murphy. He's got a
just gigantic beard. Beard.
We have no confidence in our government anymore. That is the shame. Soon we'll be breaking up into tribes. Well, Dave, you missed the first half of the stream. Just to recap for you, we talked about things that we learned in 2020, and one of the things that we learned is that we don't have legitimate elections anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
And as far as I'm concerned, that means exactly what you just said. That means we have no government. We have no confidence in our government. We have no government. We can't put our trust in them anymore. So
pretty sure the main reason Biden won was because a lot of people didn't show up to vote, like, at all. They said that it was like they said that it was record turnout for voters this year. But what is the record? What's the record number? And then what is also the number of people that didn't show up to vote or couldn't legally vote and actually were like conscious of that and were like, no, I'm not going to vote because I can't legally vote.
Joe Biden got the highest level of voter enthusiasm we've ever seen.
He had tens of thousands of people at his rallies.
More than Obama. Don't question it.
Way more than Obama.
Don't question it.
All the Biden voters were just cheering, USA, USA, USA. Oh my goodness, it's hilarious. Like, this year has been a total trip, not just for me personally, but just politically, just socially speaking. This person that I've been talking to on my Instagram asked, what is the biggest like surprise of 2020? And for me, it was the fact that businesses here in California were so ready and willing to close their doors and shut down for this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
That they were just ready and willing to do it.
I've wondered that. What goes through the head of somebody who is like supports leftism, but also owns a business?
Right?
Does the reality conflict at all for them? They're like, well, if I close my business, then my family starves. But if COVID.
Like,
So
but COVID, I care about lives. I don't want to see old people die. I don't want to.
that's got to be a really tough spot for your brain to go through. That's like really some hardcore. There's got to be some grinding sounds
Yeah.
you can hear in there. Some sparks flying
There's
out
some
of you.
gear grinding up in those brains of the leftist business owners. I
gotta
mean,
be.
I'm surprised that they're leftists and own businesses, period, because most of them are pretty fucking stupid and have
Business
most.
owners?
Well, no, like leftist business owners.
Oh, yeah.
Business owners are okay, but the fact that they're leftist and they're business owners, I'm like, wow, I thought that y'all hated business. I thought y'all wanted everything to be for free.
Double think. Yeah, exactly.
I thought y'all don't believe in profit and capitalism. I thought that y'all didn't believe in the market. I thought that y'all were communists.
So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. To wrap up everything that I'm saying, I offered an option for kind of where my personal mindset, where I'm going to go after learning all this stuff in 2020. But there are other options. And if we want to try and correct some of these things, if you want to have an election that actually means something, probably be a good idea to start planning that now.
Right?
If you want to change the idea that science doesn't matter, if you want to be an expert in something, well, that's kind of a slow change. You got to start soon. You got to start really, really basically right now if you want to start doing something. So I've got my path forward. I know what I'm going to do. But those people who want to actually try and think they're going to have a legitimate election in 2024,
No, that's not going to
You've got a
happen.
lot of work to do, and it starts yesterday.
You've got
So,
4 years to prepare, so go for it.
Yeah. And good luck. I wish you all the best.
Ken.
With that, I wish you the best with your election in 2024 and the democracy that you think exists and the republic that you think exists. But it's going to take a lot of work to get that functional.
Yep.
And, you may have some other options. If you have better options, drop them in the comments. I want to hear them so that we can evaluate them. Like I said, this is a two-way conversation. I'm not just spouting out gospel here.
Yeah. Well,
Dave, we're on the way out here, wrapping up the stream, drops a
$10?
$10 super chat.
$10? Wow. Thank you so much, Dave.
Dave says, just because I missed you guys and I'm old and the kofufu might take me soon.
The kofufu.
Hey, we just got over it, so you can get over it too.
Yeah, I definitely had the COVID. I feel like I did.
I still only have like 50% of my taste and sense of smell.
That's why he's drinking whiskey, right?
Yeah.
He's not normally he drinks vodka, but this time he's drinking whiskey, you
You
guys.
guys know I don't drink whiskey.
Yeah, and he pulled out the Jack Daniels tonight, and I was like, what are you? Who is this? I don't know who you are.
Well, somebody suggested to me that whiskey helps you get over sickness, so
Whiskey and weed. I mean, that's what I usually go with.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I did lose my sense of taste and my sense of smell, but it's getting close to back. So
He's almost there. He's
it's like 50%. I still can't fully taste my sriracha yet. So
yeah, and his sriracha's delicious. Let me just say, I've tasted it.
thanks again, Dave. I really appreciate it, buddy. Hey,
Dave, we
just
appreciate
get your vitamin D, vitamin C, and your zinc.
I was gonna say you gotta include the zinc.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Just unless you're over 80, then you have like a 9% chance of dying. So I don't think Dave's over 80.
I don't think so. Dave seems like a young soul, but I don't know.
Buddy, you sound like a young Ron Swanson. Melina, that is a good analogy. I like Ron Swanson. I like everything that he stands for. For those who don't know, Ron Swanson is in a show called Parks and Rec. He's like a very staunch libertarian guy who just hates government, but he works in the government, which is why it's a comedy.
Yeah, that's why
And
Parks and Rec was pretty good. Not
I would
gonna
agree
lie.
with that assessment.
You
Melina
kind of
and
do
Baby.
have that Ron Swanson vibe, and I dig. That's why I dig you. Like I dig you.
I just need a mustache.
Yeah, you do.
Need to follow in the footsteps of my dad and grow a mustache.
Your dad has a mustache.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Does he like? Is it like just a
Nope, nothing special.
just
a standard
just
mustache.
a standard old mustache? Somebody's got to rock the mustache. Might as well be your dad.
Bring back the mustache.
Bringing back the
Bring
mustache.
back communities. Remove yourself from institutional control and power. That's all I'm trying to say, people.
Yeah.
I hope you guys didn't have as rough of a 2020 as everyone else complaining did.
Yeah, my
20
2020. Even though it was rough, I'm not going to complain about
We've
it.
got no excuses for 2021 because we've now evaluated everything that's happened in 2020 and we can make the correct adjustments moving forward into 2021. Whatever that means for you, I know what it means for me. Mm-hmm. So we hope you guys enjoyed this stream today.
We enjoyed you.
I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad to be back.
Yep.
And,
hit the like button down there.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification
Somewhere
bell.
down here in this area.
Wherever it is.
Drop a comment to help us fight the comment algorithm.
Unless your name's Ken, then don't comment. I'm just kidding.
Ken can comment all day. It's fine.
Ken, it's cool.
Ken can call me a wimp. That's fine. I'm not. See, a leftist would ban Ken from chat.
Yeah, but not us.
Ken, I will never ban you from chat. You can talk as much smack as you want. You're welcome to do so. Folks, follow me on Parler. Link is in the description below if you want to know notifications for when we go live. And we will probably be back on Tuesday or so.
Yeah, something like that.
So
Before the new year.
thank you for joining us. We'll do a Christmas stream this week. And we hope to see you there.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah for those Jews out
If
there.
we don't see you till then, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Have a good night, you guys.
Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you next time.
Welcome.
On the
Good
Weekly
night.
Narrative.
Weekly Narrative.